from, but some are really stringent on the application of this single-use plastic ban, whereas others do not have the means to, do not have something, I can say like the mean or the will to get it to get these policies to be implemented. And we have a lot of circular economies, SMEs in the plastic recycling sector trying to do their best daily to see that we have a low impact from plastic waste on the continent. So basically, the plastic produced in Cameroon is a problem, but that the one coming from export from America and other parts of the world as very low quality second-hand goods, and also plastic waste itself is posing again much problem than the waste generated by the Africans themselves. So so far
Jocelyn.
We have very good initiative, but the major problem in Africa is infrastructure for proper waste collection and waste management. Thank you.
I think, well done, Jocelyn. Great that you made it in this session. You and David have paved the way for the entrepreneurs. We've touched upon collaboration. You've touched on packaging. We've touched also on import of plastics. I think we have lots to talk about with innovation. So it's actually time for the entrepreneurs now. And why are entrepreneurs so important, ladies and gentlemen? Because they show guts, they invest, they are responsible for scaling up. So we need them to do their work, but they can't do it alone. Now, how are we going to start this discussion? What have we done? We will make something like a virtual travel through the value chain of plastics. And we've divided this value chain into 3 parts, and we will speak with 3 times 2 entrepreneurs. And we start with the beginning of the value chain. That's the area of design, material innovation, and production. And Jocelyn mentioned the topic of packaging. Packaging is probably an issue everywhere. It's about preventing waste and reducing the need for virgin input material. So I want to welcome Crystal Howe from Ice River Sustainable Solutions and Patrick van Baal from Friesland Campina. Now, what will happen is that they will each present their company in 3 minutes, and then I will start a question with each of them. Let's make the video linkage to Crystal. Crystal, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Great. Well, I know that you come from a very, very entrepreneurial family that has given light to Ice River Sustainable Solutions. Please enlighten us of your work.
Okay, so we're based in Canada. We're a family-owned and operated business. I work with my brothers and my mom and dad every day, which is awesome. Basically, our claim to fame was back in 2010 when we became the first beverage company in North America to run our own recycling facility and produce a 100% recycled content beverage bottle from that same material. But it really didn't end there in true entrepreneurial spirit. When we buy the PET baled material that's collected here in Ontario, it's coming from a single stream source. So our material recovery facilities sort it, and we obviously get some extra materials mixed in with our bales. So to improve recovery on that material, we have developed end markets where they actually didn't exist in the first place. So we actually operate 7 businesses now that use that material and put it back into a value add situation. So for example, when you use PET bottles, you have a cap, polyolefin based cap, HDPE or polypro. We actually operate a furniture company that consumes that material and makes recycled furniture from it. The green PET that we receive in our bottle bales actually turns into our own brand. So our brand is small. It's able to manage just a small amount of that plastic, but it keeps an additional 5 million pounds of plastic in the value stream every year. And then the next item that we're working on right now is actually thermoform sheet, which would consume some of those difficult colors to manage that we get in our bale of PET. So I think what I find interesting with the way my parents think and their entrepreneurial spirit is that they don't see the perceived barriers as an actual barrier. They want to move past that and find a real solution. So they're not afraid to work really hard and do things that others might not be willing to do. So overall, our businesses now every year recycle approximately 30,000 metric tons of plastic.
Thanks, Crystal. That's impressive. And you also point at the passion and the persistence of an entrepreneur. That's great. And what you do is actually from a lousy quality of plastic, you can manage to make also food grade by mechanical recycling. From a family-owned business, we now turn to a cooperative giant, Friesland Campina. And with us is Patrick van Baal. Patrick, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Great. I believe you are the Global R&D Director for Packaging Development. And you are going to give us something like a one-man show with all kinds of attributes, I believe. Please tell us the story of Friesland Campina.
Okay, hi. Thanks for having me. I'm Patrick van Baal, responsible for the development team for packaging for Friesland Campina. We are a dairy cooperative, which means that there's 12,000 dairy farmers, which are entrepreneurs, and they own the company. They are our bosses, and our task is to pack, to produce and pack and sell the products. And I have the honor to lead the team who's responsible to develop the packaging solutions of the company. I'm doing this for 4 years, and 4 years ago we started a journey because we have been focusing a lot on the product side of becoming the most sustainable dairy company. But we didn't focus that much on packaging. So we had a lot of catch up to do. And one of the first things we did is we developed our own tool to measure the performance of all our packaging formats of the company to understand where we are and how sustainable or not sustainable our packages are. And from this perspective, we have calculated and mapped for our total global scope. We are a company with 11.6 billion turnover. So you can imagine that we have any packaging format you can think of, glass, metal, paper, plastics, we have it. And we have a pretty clear picture where we are and what's working and what not. And from this analysis, we have built a program, a 5-year program to, in 2025, to have all our packs recyclable. And a bit in the longer term, we need to make them circular. And as we are a food company, that's a pretty big challenge because I know the challenge Crystal has been going through. And we're trying to do that on multiple formats, multiple product types. And this is where we are working on, but not just changing the formats. And we're really looking into recycling, making plastic circular,
30 seconds, please, Patrick.
Plastics.
30 seconds, Patrick. I believe you want to show us something. Can you do that in 30 seconds?
This is the current world of milk cartons. It has a cap. And we have changed actually to a format. We how do you say it? We renovated. We went back in terms of time and we removed the plastic cap. And that was we had a lot of discussions if this is the right way to go or not, because definitely we are compromising convenience. But after a lot of discussions, we said, let's take our product, our organic product, with the most conscious customers, and let's see if they are willing to compromise convenience to reduce plastic. And you can research a lot, but we took the big step. And we tried. So, and I cannot tell you where it's going because we just implemented it. But I think it's amazing to work in a company where people are open to try and move forward. And worst case, we need to move back.
Thanks for that. Just do it. Thank you, Patrick. I will be back with you soon. But first, I continue the discussion with Crystal. Are you back with me? Yes, you are.
Yes.
So I remember you saying to me that you heard that people told you it couldn't be done, yet you managed. So what have been your critical success factors? What can others learn from you?
I think that the first major one is that entrepreneurial spirit. I think I've said it before, where if someone tells my parents that they can't do something, I know that that's going to be our focus for that year. It gets us into lots of interesting predicaments, but they really don't give up. And I'm very proud of them for that. The second one that we had here in Ontario that was a benefit was access to material and that transparency around the volumes available to us. That's incredibly helpful for designing business models so that we could buy equipment that would manage the material that was being collected locally and size it based on that. The other piece was having access to it. So there's no long contracts. We can just move in and bid on that monthly material, and it's not locked up. So it allows for innovation. And finally, I think the biggest piece that brought everything together was finding a partner in a retailer that would actually push this out on a bigger scale. So for us, it was Loblaw. They were the first company to accept our 100% recycled beverage bottle and transition their brand to that material. And as soon as they did that, it actually opened doors. Every major retailer across Canada wanted their brand in this 100% recycled bottle, which allowed us to scale. And really, when it comes to the consumer now, when they're shopping at their favorite grocery store, the options, there's always a recycled content option that's able to compete with virgin.
Thanks. A small question for you. I hope you can give a 1 or 2 sentence answer. Did you manage to have a climate impact assessment of your activity?
Yes, we found that there's a 78% reduction in emissions when using recycled content instead of virgin material.
And what would be the top 2 things which would help you from regulatory perspective to grow your business? What would you pick?
I think the first one is getting a consistent end market. So driving producers to consume recycled content so that we can size ourselves according to the market. And then second would be access to more material. And I think everybody can agree to that. So designing products that fit within the system so that we're collecting items that can be circular, as well as gaining access to the industry, the commercial, the institutional locations, getting material from them as well. And then just transparency on that material again, so that larger companies can build upon it.
Fantastic. Thank you for being with us. We go back to Patrick van Baal. Patrick, are you here? Yes?
Yes.
So you are a global player, but also a multi-local player. Can you share your advice to other companies which might not have your skill yet, how design can help them to go circular?
Yes, definitely. And it's one of the things is that it's not an easy topic. It's an emotional topic too. So there is a lot of not complete information floating around. So if you want to move, if you want to change, if you want to take ownership, first start doing your homework. Build the expertise or hire expertise. And then the next step is gather data. So really, this is something which really helped us. Understand how you measure things, understand the facts, and gather them. And then the third step is probably the nicest one to do, is find friends. Find people who want to move. Find companies who want to move, because there's a lot who don't want. Don't waste your time with them. Get things moving and find companions, friends, and start working with them.
Thanks, Patrick. Coalition of the willing. That's, I think, very important if you want to manage something, measure it as well. You work in lots of different realities. What would be your advice for, let's say, emerging countries and maybe more developed countries, if you could make your pick? What is the difference between the two?
Emerging countries don't copy the established systems. Do your analysis, build your own systems, learn, pick the nice things from what is done somewhere else, but really configure your own systems, because definitely the systems around in some of the developed markets are far from perfect, and we're struggling to getting them optimized. So when you build new systems for circularity, you have an amazing opportunity to build from the start the right systems and hopefully be ahead of us soon.
Thanks for that. Thank you very much for showing the leadership of Friesland Campina. Ladies and gentlemen, back home, don't forget to share your emotions, your questions, your deepening questions for the speakers in the web chat. We now continue with 2 more best practices along another part.